Hotep, I am the Alman Osiris, the one and only undisputed God of law. We are deception stoppers, the 4D destroyers, America's only child support education service. I am not a lawyer. This is not a law firm. We don't advocate that you don't support your human offspring. We simply advocate that you made them in private and you raised them in private. And today it is my honor to introduce our special guest, the one and only Aquaman himself, the Lord of the Rings, Mr. Patrick Duffy. Aquaman, welcome,
Hey.
brother. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you too, Brand. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. I'm fat. I got beer.
There you go. There you go.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm feeling the
it's
same
always a
way.
great day over here in the heavens, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you know what I say? Right there, brother. Cheers.
Oh, there it is, man. Here's to us, man. More so, here's to you, man. You've had um, a, 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 a smashing victory. Um,
I
you you did what needed to be done, and you succeeded. And you were nice enough to share with us, the earnings, the fruit of your labor. And everybody appreciated that. I got people emailing me saying, "Hey, I want to hire Patrick. Tell me I want to hire Aquaman." So all right, well, we'll talk about that. I said, but right now, listen, Aquaman's enjoying himself right now. You give him a minute.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I need a little time to breathe. Right.
Yes, yes, yes. And you're looking
You
wonderful,
know.
man. And I'm glad we had a chance to get together and chew this up. So let's jump into it, man. The fellas want to
Sure.
know how you went about doing what you did. And also, we spoke earlier, you said that you have some the evidence which proves that the Social Security Administration is responsible for that debt. We can cover that, and we got plenty of time, man. So let's chew it up and let's.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think what we should do probably is give a small little background of kind of how things started out and happened and why they got to the point where they were. And I'll make it as quick as possible. Back in 1993, which was a year after my first child was born, I had found us in a relationship that was splitting apart because her parents kind of didn't really care for me too much. So as that kind of unfolded, I figured what better place for me to be than to go into the military and to make a better man of myself
Okay.
and come out on the other end with a little bit of a changed perspective on life.
Okay.
So so I did that, and when I came out of the service after doing my time, I came out to a $30,000 back bill, and I kind of was dumbfounded. And I come from a family that's not, they're not rich, but they're definitely well off and then some.
Okay.
But and I was the black sheep. I can't deny I was the black sheep because I always had my own ideals, my own views. Um, and they all automatically just told me, "Hey, you got this bill. You got to stop paying it. You got this to do. You got to do this." And like a robot, I just kind of listened because I thought that was a thing to do. So as I tried to start biting at that stuff, and as I took jobs outside of the after the military, they were really destroying my paychecks to the point where I could not live if I had to. And it was 65% of my check was gone. So even back then, $10 an hour was considered, not terrible, but it wasn't the greatest. So I was living a modest life, but I was only taking home, geez, a little over $100 a week for 40 hours of work, and I
How
couldn't
old
live
were
off
you?
of that. What's that?
How old were you?
Well, I was 19 in '93,
Okay.
and so that's when it all started. Being young and dumb, fresh to the world, trying to figure my place out in this place. Uh, you know, the sad part is we're all young and dumb.
I'm a Toys R Us kid, man. I don't want to grow up, brother. It ain't gonna happen.
I don't, I don't blame you. I'm kind of the same way now that I got this bullshit behind me.
Right, 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 right.
So yeah, it kind of it put a heavy burden on me, and it affected my life. As a matter of fact, I would receive letters all the time from both the agency and things like the Registry of Motor Vehicles suspending my license from Mass,
Hmm.
telling me that because of unpaid or something, and I just didn't have enough to cover what they court ordered.
Right.
Now, as the years went by, I mean, this arrearage just accumulated and accumulated, and I was putting money in, but it wasn't enough to fulfill the order, what they had said.
Okay.
So that's how that arrearage kept building up, and it was just interest and penalties, tax returns. They were wage garnishing. They were taking anything and everything they possibly could to pay that debt, and it kind of ruined my life, I have to say. They really, really ruined my life for a long, long time. And then I managed to get out of Massachusetts, and I came up here to Maine about almost 20 years ago. And I had met an ex-wife that I was with for a few years, and about 5 years. And then the wife I have now, I actually have been with for 10 years as of August 4th. So yeah, so we're making a go. She's been a patient woman, and I'll tell you, 4 years ago, I tripped over your videos. I started watching because I just needed to find that relief. And every video I watched gave me a sense of hope that there is a way out, even though I didn't understand the process at the time. But I was taking the information. I said, Jesus, you know, I'm getting older. I sure as hell ain't getting any smarter. Well, that's my job. So, you know what they say, power to the wise one.
There it is. Truth only
You
fears
know,
concealment.
right. So yeah, I started paying very close attention. I started to learn and question. I tapped into basically everything you put out there. There was the United States codes, the state constitutions, the Code of Federal Regulations. I got into the Social Security Act. I started reading, but everything I did that I accomplished took that 4 years to really know how to go after them, and go after them with a cocky attitude. Like I wasn't messing around. I knew what I was doing, and I knew they were screwing me over.
Now
It's
you just
my
can't
turn.
leave, huh?
That's right. Now I own this bitch.
I like that.
So, yeah, so that's basically what happened. So yeah, as a matter of fact, I've been catching some of your videos on that Social Security Administration being responsible for the debt. And in case there's any people that aren't really believers out there, I do have a letter from the Social Security Administration right here. It was mailed to me, and this was when my case was closed, and it says right here that just in case somebody wants to pause that video, they could take a moment and read that if they wish. But what it states is we're writing to you about court order XYZ concerning your responsibility for child support, alimony, or court-ordered victim restitution. It says we will no longer take money out of your Social Security payments for child support, alimony, or court-ordered victim restitution because the court has sent us an order to stop withholding. That is proof that they are responsible for that debt.
Told you.
That's what you said, man. The proof is in the pudding. That's right. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that's good, man. That is good, man. That is really good.
And for anybody who wants to question anything this man is teaching you, you're the fool already, because he's not wrong, and everything he teaches you is there, but you have to find your way to present it to them where it becomes effective.
There it is. Now, Patrick. Now, I told everybody, and I explained to everybody this. You did not hire us. We spoke a few times. You've been to a few webinars, all right, but you did your research.
Everything. Yeah, I did everything on my own. I took your information. I religiously watched your videos. Some of them I had to watch 3 and 4 times just to, just to
Right.
make sure that I had it down. And when I did that, I took my own little notes. I wrote stuff down, and I started looking at this stuff. I did all the research. I looked into it. What you teach is not wrong. It is the agency's job to deceive the American people of what they're doing. They don't want to be exposed, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. These assholes are planting on us.
Hey man, hey, but speaking of multi-billion-dollar industry, you got a little taste of that pie, didn't you?
I did get a slice of that pie. That's right, and I'm pretty sure they didn't like it, but I don't give a fuck.
Remember, what was that movie, Denzel Washington, Training Days? How's your comfort level?
You're right. Right.
All right. Comfort level's good.
Yep.
The family's doing good, brother.
Yep, family's doing great. My wife is grateful as ever to the information and knowledge that you taught me, and probably more so that I paid the hell attention. You know.
Hey man, I mean that's you, and that's you, and man, I appreciate you coming on, and I want the viewers who take the time out to watch this. It's if you pay attention and you do your research, we can have more and more stories like this. All right, the objectivity is, you take the information and you use it. It's not reinventing the wheel. I mean, did you have to reinvent the wheel, Duff?
No,
No.
no, no, no. No, and it was basically, it felt like I was stepping into a world I was unfamiliar with. And it's like anything. You have to start at square one. You have to understand how the legal system works. And then you can start to understand what they're doing and how it's colluded and how to break it down and bust it open.
Hmm.
That was what happened. Yeah.
Kind of like elementary, my dear Watson.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, man, and this is great news. I'm not one to usually do an interview, and I had told you that, but in this case, it was very special
Yeah.
because with what you went through, and another thing that's very important. Okay, how long did this take you?
You talk, well, it took me 4 years from the learning process about what you were teaching and to get to the point of victory.
Okay,
So it did take 4 years. So it's
okay,
not an overnight thing. You mentioned that in a previous video. It is not an overnight thing, and people need to more or less spend that time and energy understanding what they're reading and what they're hearing. They
right.
have to understand that it is a very in-depth system.
And the other question I want to ask you: Are you? I have a lot of people out here, and I'm always want to promote. I've gotten a lot of emails for people wanting to speak with you. Are you willing to speak with anybody individually, or you want to take your time? He's into it. How you want to go about doing anything?
In all honesty, I have a disabled daughter. She takes up a lot of my time. So
Okay.
I had to, that's part of why it took me 4 years. She requires a lot of attention, and I have a lovely wife that is blessed with that ability to have that patience to deal with her
Yes.
when I'm doing
Was
stuff.
that was her I spoke to on the phone? She sounds like a Playboy model, man. What you doing out
Man,
there,
yeah,
Aquaman?
she's 7 years old, and she's got autism, and she's got NF1,
Oh,
which
okay,
is called,
okay.
yeah, which is neurofibromatosis. But she is a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed, adorable little girl who is fighting with the ability to understand her world, and we have to be patient enough to take our time to teach her.
A little
And
power dynamo.
that's my goal. Yeah, I don't have a problem talking to people because I talk to people around where I live.
Right, right, right.
Um, but to be able to take on more than that, I don't know if I'd have the ability to. But
Okay.
I would like to encourage everybody to understand that what you put out is what they need to be doing. They need to pay attention to your videos. They need to join your webinars. They need to write this down, and they need to take a moment afterwards to dissect what exactly it is you're talking about, understand it fully, and then move forward. And I notice you say a lot of people have problems saying, oh, I need paperwork for this and that. What I did personally was when I started this process, I went through the idea of making a packet off a computer. So I did a cover sheet. Um, I made a notice of demand of the expedited process,
Hmm.
describing what I expect the agency to do. I put in a fact-finding sheet, which was very important, of all the things that they're doing that was illegal and against the law and against my rights. Yeah, and then I added the proof in order to it. But then I started jumping into the things that you were showing us also, that 42 USC subsection 1983. There it is, brother.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got that one. I got the conspiracy. I got everything. Single and separate organizational unit. I've got establishing paternity and securing support. You name it. Cooperative arrangements and incentive payments to states. I took all that information and I read through it and I scratched my head and was so angry that I said, this ain't going away and neither the hell am I. I'm taking this down. And I did it.
So in essence, and that's beautiful, man. See, and that's what it takes. And you did it your way. Um, in essence, it was. Did it come down to a violation of due process that
It
terminated the
did.
case? Was that what was the end result, the end conclusion that terminated the actual case?
Well, what happened is in this packet, it's a demand for them to close all cases and reinstate all license and privileges,
Hmm.
or risk being taken to for me to open up a and file a case in the federal district court.
Right, right,
So,
okay. So you made
and
some
that
threats.
scared the shit out of that scared the shit out of them. Yeah, they weren't happy. I sent them this packet, certified mail, and those papers were in this packet, and they weren't happy to get it.
Okay,
So
okay.
when they got it, yep, it explained everything that they were doing, and that I had no problem going to the U.S. Federal District Court, and I could have went to the one right here in my state, which is one of the qualifications for federal court is it must be an out-of-state agency. So, ta-da, here I am, and I'm screaming. I'm thinking, yep, there's more money than 75,000. This bitch qualifies.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
and yeah,
That's crazy, man. So would it be fair to say that, all right, so you did this by long range assault. You didn't run into the child support hearing yelling
oh,
everything.
oh no,
Okay, so you did it long range. You did it, and you did it by the power of paper. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I definitely would agree with that.
All right, so it was because it was your affidavit, certified mail. Now you did the
Yep,
same thing
correct,
to them that they would do to you. You hit them with some
absolutely.
certified mail. You made your claim against them. Obviously, you were right, and the end result was
That's
a
right.
fat ass check.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope everybody can work with that.
Now, I hope the people who are watching this understand that when you create a packet, you have to make sure that this packet goes in with an explanation of what it is, a cover sheet describing. You have
Mm.
to have your fact sheet put in there of all the things they're doing to you, regardless of your consent signed prior to or not. And you have to have created a proof of service of your own off of Microsoft Office.
Hmm.
Spend the $10, get the subscription, and type the shit up properly. Once you do it, you send that in, they can't deny that they didn't receive it. That's your protection in court. So
Default.
that's right.
Default.
That's right.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
man. It is Aquaman. And what else would you pass on to the brethren out there? Because listen, man, I'm gonna be getting hit with emails over this conversation. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Fine.
that's why I wanted you to express yourself with it, because everybody's like, I want to talk to Aquaman. Well, I don't know if he wants to talk to you, so that's why I asked you the question earlier. So everybody heard that, and we'll
Yeah.
just people just check this out. He can't do anything for you that you can't do for yourself. We did not free him; he freed himself, and you can free yourself. Would you agree with that, Aquaman?
Yeah. Absolutely. It takes your own motivation and desire to get off it. If not, like he said before, sit down, shut the hell up, and keep paying.
It's just that simple. All right.
It
So,
is.
and I have a video actually that I just recently. I mean, right before I looked at the time, I said, "Oh shit, I got to get online with Aquaman here." And I have a video that's coming out that's showing. That's right, smoke 'em if you got 'em. We got a video coming out that's showing that the Title 4D crime family is in fact a for-profit business. All right, they actually bribe the judges. All right, and they have no jurisdiction. And if people, it's maybe a
That's correct. That's
12-minute
correct.
video. All right, you can get that and check it out and see it. And Patrick, my gosh, Aquaman, man. Oh, so listen, apart from now, I don't want to go without asking, how do you feel now? How did you feel when you got that refund? I mean, that's really because your mental now. Has it changed? Explain to
Oh
everybody
yeah.
how that monkey's off your back now, man.
I'll tell you what happened. You are not going to really feel it for at least a couple of weeks afterwards to let it soak in and sit in.
Right.
Now, keep in mind from 93 up until this year, I've had those assholes holding me down under their thumb, taking shit from me, depriving me all these years. And I grew a brainstem with the help of this man. It took a while. It really did. It takes a while to sink in because I've had that basically that programming ever since then. Like, just do what they tell you to do. Not wait a minute, they're wrong. What they're doing is wrong.
Right, right.
But yeah, it took quite a while to really feel it. But now that they're off, I feel like I've probably gained 10 more years on my life. I feel
Wow.
a lot more reprieved. I feel lighter. My family is feeling a little bit better. I know they can feel it inside the house when
Hell
I'm
yeah.
home. That a lot more happiness. And now when my little girl says she wants to go to get a toy, I got no problem saying, let's go.
Wow. That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
And really that's the end result is what you know what? The money is cool. And it
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
But the feeling, the law of attraction, your energy is now restored. You're restored as a man. You're free. And
Correct.
it's like when you're on the plane, you're free to roam about the cabin. I mean, you can do your thing now.
That's right.
And
That's right. So,
yeah, and I asked that because I remember, when I cleared myself of that bullshit, I was like, it really did. It took a couple of days, and when I really sat back, it's like, yo, man, I'm like, what am I gonna do with myself? You know what I mean? It was like, whoa,
oh yeah.
it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
And then, after, and you'll notice when your energy is good like that, you're not always drawn into negative. You're drawn when people go through this 4D crime family bullshit. All right. It puts a lot of stress and negativity on you. And in the back of your
Oh,
mind,
absolutely.
always, right. So you attract what you bring to you. So when you're in that state of mind, it's a catatonic state of mind. All right, it brings more and more of that negative to you, and it really sucks the essence out of you. All right, and you can ask,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I know those of you who've been out there, and Rick W, even me and my man Rick W, we talked about this because we had the same problem. It'll suck you dry, man. But now, when your energy is good, the law of attraction will kick in because you're feeling better, your energy's higher. You know what I'm saying? And you're got more positive thoughts, and the more positive thoughts you put out, that manifests into positive energy and it comes back to you. All right, but the other problem with the 4D crime family is they're energy stealers because they have in such a bad state of mind. All right, nothing good is happening from those thoughts that you're putting into the universe, and that's what you're drawing back to you. And that's one of the spells that I'm trying to break here. And that probably out of everything is the most important part of our conversation. All right.
Right.
When I can imagine, man. Listen, I know you got a big old hug from the wifey, right?
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because Rick W. I've watched a few of his videos, and he's good. He's
Oh,
very good.
that's
And
my man right there. Rick W. Shout out to you. Rick W. is my main stain, brother.
you know, I got a little grudge against him is because my wife sees him on the TV and she's like, "Oh, hi, Rick."
Rick Mac
and,
Daddy W.
and I yeah, and then I sit there and I give her the old cockeyed look, like, "What are you doing?"
And
So,
the funny part is, I
Rick,
had
my
saw
wife's
Rick.
gonna think, man.
He had a screenshot up of his computer, and I talked to him on the phone. I said, Rick, man, I didn't know you married a Playboy model, brother. What's going on? His wife is fine. I mean, Rick, no, shit, yeah, he's got a beautiful wife. So yes,
Yep.
hey man, I think, hey Rick is a good fella. Yeah, that thing we talked about, that other thing. Just kidding, Rick. But yeah, man, this is really great, man. Well, listen, Aquaman, I really, really, really appreciate your time. And I'm
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you and your family are blessed, and more importantly, I'm glad that you're now experiencing your freedom. And now, more importantly, look, I don't think can anybody take advantage of you anymore.
No, it's funny because now they're all kind of kissing my ass. I'm getting I'm getting letters in the mail left and right. Oh, you got this reinstated. Oh, you guys want this, or you want to apply for this. It's like, wait a minute, where the fuck were you 3 years ago?
Hey man, listen, you're in a whole new society now. It's called free, and
Yes,
I
yes,
hope that our tribe can increase. Because
yeah,
now that you've escaped it, you realize that you are free. And for those of you who are listening, all right, if you won't look, if you don't get out there and do it, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna be possible. Um,
right. And if I will say this though, if you don't mind, but if anybody does want to contact me, they can contact me at my email. If they have any further questions, to try to figure out the long way of going through everything. But you're going to have to understand that Osiris is my man. He taught me what I know. I just pushed through the other steps that needed to be pushed through. But that's the only advice that I can really give anyone, is how to draw up maybe some paperwork of their own if they choose to go that road. Other than that, my schooling and information came from this man right here.
I'm honored, brother. Well, look, man, I'm going to I tilt my glass and I tip my hat to you, sir. You did what is that's what I ask everybody to do. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, I want to hire you. Yeah, but hiring me is not going to get your case dismissed. I mean, yes, I can definitely help you. But, you know, a lot of guys aren't in the position to hire me, which is fine. So here is the information. Those videos on YouTube, they're free. I don't charge anything for them. You want to talk to me? You want to you want to hire me? Yeah, okay. You got to get a wallet out because I'm going to charge you. But the fact of the matter is, you know, if it depends on what route you want to take. The education is there. All right, it's there. It's right there. It's always been there, and it can be used. And you're living proof of it. And again, he did not hire me. How many? You took a few of our webinars, though, right?
I did, and what I did was I also we had some phone conversations too, where I had gone through the process of talking to you, getting the call back before when you were on the Deception Stoppers.
Okay.
And I made the appointments, and you and I had conversed, and yeah, we had talked a few different times, and then I had jumped in on some of the feeds that you had going on, and yeah, from there it was just time to do something and start getting off my ass and making sure that I was starting to affect real change. And that's what needed to happen. And I did, yeah. And if it makes anybody happy, I can only tell you that the check that I received was over 50 grand, but it was also money that they took from me and they had to pay back. Now, they haven't sent it all back to me now, so I got another one still in the works. But what they don't know is now I have a lawsuit for the damages that have come out of this whole relationship getting ready to start in the federal court, because they actually took my kid and my rights away from me, and she is an estranged daughter, even though I now have communication with her now. But they denied me my right to raise my child and took her away under a false pretense, which was the court order in which they created under violation of due process. So that alone, I'm going to be looking at some fat greenbacks on that one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aquaman. That's hey man, power to the people, brother. I appreciate that. Hey folks, here it is. All right, here it is. It's funky fresh in the flesh.
Yeah, that's the way we like to keep it, is keeping it real.
Yo, yes, yes, sir.
So what I will do is I will just quickly show this, but this is a surrender form where they made me sign over my rights because I owed child support.
Right.
Which they had no legal right.
Well, you were allegedly owed child support.
Correct, yes. And what they did was they used that balance saying that they were going to file for child abandonment, when in turn, I had the court order that says that I was supposed to have no visitation rights, which they illegally took that from me. That's the basis of my federal suit. So in case y'all are wondering, I'm throwing a nice big giant nuke up their asshole, and I'm going to ignite that shit. That's all it's going to happen. They're going to be shit splattered everywhere.
Aquaman, I know that. I look, we've always been cool, and I know you're going to keep me informed of that, man. And
absolutely.
Once you landslide that victory, again, you know, come on back, man. You're welcome to join us anytime, brother. I really appreciate it.
I still watch your videos, and I don't need to anymore, man.
There it is, man. Well, look, you are officially a 4D destroyer. All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. And
if somebody wants with paperwork, hit Aquaman up. He'll give you my info. You can email me, and I'll try my best to give you the best information I can to help you attack these people, and what to type up and how to get it written down. And if you can't afford it because they're taking all your money, take your ass to the library.
All right. And what I'll do is, if it's all right with you, I'll post your email address in the description box of this link. I give you fair warning, Aquaman. I average about 500 to 600 emails a day, so you're probably going to get hit pretty hard. No, and you know it is what it is. So, you know, but on the same level, folks, be mindful that he does have a family. And he's got a daughter that's special to him. So I'm quite sure if you can find a few minutes, when you can,
I will
just be
try to
patient,
get
folks.
back to everybody. Be patient. Please
There it
be
is.
extra patient. But I know everyone's going to be in a hurry to try to do what they can do, and I will do my best. But there's only so much I can do.
Right.
So
No problem. No
I
problem.
will keep my information as much as I can, but don't come to me unless you've got some knowledge from this man, so you know what the hell you're talking about.
There it is. All right, appreciate that, Aquaman. All right, everybody, I'm gonna get out of here. Aquaman, I really appreciate you spending some time with me today. It's a real pleasure. Pretty soon I will be up there, and I think we got a pool game and some steak to be talking about. Okay. Yeah, we definitely got a pool game and some steak. Yeah, man. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
That's right.
Some 21-ounce beers or something. But yeah, we definitely gonna. It's coming, man. As a matter of fact, when the weather breaks, because I don't go north too far when it's cold like this.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, the best time to come up to Maine is definitely during the summer. It is a beautiful state, a lot of mountains, a lot of lakes.
Oh yeah,
and the scenery alone is just worth looking at.
I've passed through there a couple of times in my life. Yes, well, definitely, man. Consider it time spent, and just let the wifey know we might be out for a couple of days, but I'll get you home.
You got it, man. You got it.
You take care,
All right,
man. We'll talk soon, and everybody out there. All right, you've heard it for yourself. You can do it yourself. You just got to put in some time. Sometimes it works overnight. Most of the time, it does not. All right. Get your head out your ass. All right. Get your studying. Like you said, get to the library and let's get this case clear. Aquaman, Hotep, you stay up. Hotep, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Hotep, brother.